we are going to show off our 700 series John Deere combines. So thankfully this is already submitted into Giants, so hopefully we're going to see this on ModHub for too much longer. So we'll just kind of go over some of the different configurations and everything we have with our different combines. So one of the things with us is we kind of try to gear towards realism as much as possible. So you can't get the biggest grain tank and the widest set of tires and everything like that, and that you can on the lowest horsepower machine as you can the highest horsepower machine, because it just that's not realistic. That's going to suck up too much horsepower. That machine is not going to be able to run the way it's intended to. So we have it kind of broken out the same way that the manufacturers do. So we'll go over our tire size for the first go. So here, Lizard, aka kind of Firestone here. We got 520s and we got 580s, and we have front wheel drive and all wheel drive versions. So we can go over to our Michelins, and we've got 580s and 650s. Obviously, with our all-wheel drive and two-wheel drive versions. We have our John Deere track options here as well. So we got all-wheel drive, or different rubbers on the rear for your front-wheel drive too. Then we also have some ATI Power Flexes. And then these high idlers. So we can also mess with our rear axle length. So we can go wider and wider and wider. 152 is our max. And we also have different spreader options. So this is kind of your conventional. Typically you'd see these on pieces of equipment that are running a smaller head, something where you're not trying to disperse your chaff nearly as much. So your twin disc, this is probably your more moderate. And this is your power cast. This is for the whenever you have a really large head and you're really trying to get that chaff all the way out there so you got good coverage. And then for our exhaust, we have our US standard with Tier 4B emissions. We can go over to the Brazilian, which is basically just a muffler. That's the difference in the regulations between the US and like Europe versus Brazil and South American countries. They don't require the strict of emissions as what we do. And then we also have our year selections. So we have 2017, 21, and our 2022. So our big differences here are our lights. So we got rounded lights here, whereas these were square. Our beacons change. So it'd be the square LED, and then obviously these lights change as well. So we have numbers 1 through 9. We have our oversized sign all the way back here. And here's where it gets a little bit fun. We got our Patriot plots. We've got the USA, Canada, Brazil, Australia, the Farm Rescue, and everybody's favorite Bush Light. So pretty fun. Windows, you can increase tint. So that's, I feel like more people are playing first person on this game than what have in the past, thanks to the assisted steering. So make it a little bit darker so it's not much bright when you're going through. We can also have our rear attacher here. So on grain tank, this one's fun because it's changed depending on which combine you're selecting. So we've got our cover, our tarp, and then the small foldable, the smaller Dimco, and then our static small. So our pipe options are 22 foot, Then we got a larger boot here, then 26 foot, and then 26 foot with the larger boot. Then 28 foot, and a 28 foot with the larger boot. So those are your auger options on this one. So now let's go over and check out our S770. So same kind of setup on our lizard tires, 520s, 580s, back to 520s, Michelin's or 580s, 650s. On our John Deere, we've got our tracks. Then our ATI Power Flexes, our high idlers. Let's go back through this. Then we start getting into our LSWs here, our 1100s, 1250s, big old 1400s, and back to 520s. So same thing with their axle length, spreaders are the same, exhaust the same, model year's the same, oversize the same, Patriot plot's the same, attachers, grain tank, we get back to being a little bit different. So we've got our static small, our without tarp, the foldable small, Demco, and then we end up getting our extensions on our Demco here. So that's what you get going up. If you get more horsepower, and then you also go up being able to get that extendable on the Demco. So then our pipe, 22, 26, we have 28s. So same, I guess, auger setup as the 60 series. So we'll go down to our 780. So this is where things kind of start getting a little bit larger. So tire size, same on the Lizard, aka Firestone. Michelin's, we get into a little bit bigger of a tire. We go up to 710s with these. So our 650s, and back to our 580s, and we have our John Deere. We go back to ATI Power Flexes, high idlers. Then we go into our S-Tech series of tracks. So then we can go back, and we're back to our 1400 LSWs, but if you notice, we add our wheel weights at the back. This is our first combine that we are putting on our weights on the rear. Super handy if you are running the larger corn heads, large bean head, anything like that. Whenever you'll notice, as soon as you put on the head, it takes the back of the combine up pretty high. So this helps it out. We add a little bit of weight, so it's at 26.5. Without it, we're at 23.4. So it is actually making a difference. It's not just a visual change. So kind of the same thing. Axle length same, tailboard same, exhaust, model year, numbers, Patriot plot. Pretty much all the same until we get back to our grain tank. We have our static without tarp, with tarp. Then we have our Prairie Big Top. And then we have our larger foldable hopper. Then our Demco with extensions, and then back to our static. So, in our pipe, 26, 28. So now we'll go to our S790. So here's where our tires get a little bit more interesting. So you might have peeked it there on the intro video, but we do have some other options here. So we've got our tracks again. Idlers. So then we get into some 800s on floaters. Getting pretty wide there. So our 7900s. DT 900s again here. 1100s. 1100 duals. I believe our 1100 dual is our widest configuration, which is absolutely insane for a tire. Then we can get that with our weights, obviously. So we're talking about some serious flotation and some reduction in ground compaction right there. That is one wide dude. So obviously we have our ladder. It's not going to fit over that, so it has to sit at a angle if you're going to climb up there. Axle length's the same, the 152. Spreader's the same. This is obviously one we'd want that power cast. Exhaust, model year, that's all the same. Grain tank, this is where we start making some changes again. So without tarp, our curved big top, foldable Demco. Then we get that big grain tank that everybody really loves. So that's 24,667 liters of capacity right there. And then obviously if you're running a combine this big, you're gonna have that reach. So we have our 28-foot plus a extender. So that's going to be sure that if you're going to run a big head, that you're going to be able to unload that. So there's our configurations, guys. We'll kind of cut back to a little bit more gameplay. 770. Kind of show it off a little. Kind of show a little bit of corn. Honestly, with the 12-row corn head, this is probably a really great matchup. In real life with the Class 7 machine, 12-row might be pushing a little bit, but for in-game, I think this is fine. One of the nice things we have is we have our doors that open for a little bit more immersive gameplay, as well as we have covers that open. So they open up entirely with the ladder. If you'll watch here, whenever we kick it on, so we've got our belts and pulleys that are going. Wind up and wind down. And it just rained, so I mean, guys, look at that water being off of the plastic on the tires. So it's probably gonna get a little bit muddy since it rained, so it's gonna really fill up those cleats with dirt. So we'll go ahead and shell some corn. Gonna cut off lands here.